Peter Griffin eats like a raccoon with a credit card. Unsupervised, unstoppable, and one questionable decision away from a full-blown medical emergency. Sure, he's a husband, a father, and part-time chicken fighter, but deep down, Peter's true passion is food, and preferably in bulk. We start the day with Peter and Chris scamming hotels for free breakfast. In the marrying kind, they become obsessed with hotel buffets, and I'm not talking about the vacation kind where you grab a banana and move on with your life. No, this is a full operation. Multiple hotels, fake identities, and all just for breakfast.
You know, there is a Best Western in Quahog.
Well, yeah, but don't we need a room key to get breakfast?
You mean like this one?
We're going to the Best Western.
I don't need my coat, it's hot.
They treat the hotel key like it's a golden ticket. Once that door opens, Peter's on a mission. Muffins, yogurt, pancakes, eggs, some of it hot, most of it sad. But Peter doesn't care. At one point, he grabs a yogurt so small it might have been made for a squirrel. Then, orange juice that tastes like someone tried to make it using only a memory of citrus.
It's done.
This is why Sweden, Chris. Never Finland.
I'll never doubt you again.
Good.
He stacks his plate like he's building a shrine to cholesterol. Just yogurt and a glass of orange juice to start things off, and what might be mashed potatoes. We're not sure. The breakfast heist continues, and it's not even about hunger anymore, it's about the thrill. He's not paying for his food, and that somehow makes it taste better to him, even if half of it is powdered, half warm, or clearly been sitting out since 6 a.m. Eventually, they're on a breakfast eating spree, hitting hotel after hotel. They're having whatever they want, more waffles, more mini sausages, possibly a fruit cup. Hard to tell under the syrup flood. So, what did Peter eat for breakfast in this episode? Yogurt the size of a ping pong ball, orange juice that might have been legally classified as water, bacon, a lot of it, sausage, very questionable, waffles and syrup, and possibly a muffin, which may have just been a chunk of butter in a wrapper. Nutritional value, pretty rough. Maybe 4 grams of actual protein. The rest, salt, sugar, and decisions his heart will remind him about later. For most people, this kind of breakfast might be a cheat day. For Peter, it's a Tuesday. And this cut away from the episode Gronkowski's, he takes things way too literally and decides to have breakfast in bread. Not with bread, but literally inside it. While people out there are having breakfast in bed, Peter's having his in bread.
Hi, Lois. It's a great morning, no matter how you slice it.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, Peter.
That's the yeast of my concerns.
He's actually lying inside a giant loaf of bread while eating scrambled eggs and what looks like a side of bacon or sausage. It's the kind of thing that makes you wonder if he's trying to enjoy a meal or slowly become a sandwich. Lois is understandably horrified. Mortgage is late, the house is falling apart, and Peter's cozied up in carbs like it's a spa treatment. The meat itself, basic. Eggs, probably some bacon, but Peter surrounded himself with 1,000 calories of bread just for the pun. Just another casual breakfast for Peter. Peter has had many questionable cravings in his life, but this one might just take the turkey. In the episode Cootie and the Blowhard, after tasting Bonnie's cooking at Brian's birthday celebration, something inside Peter changes. A man used to frozen dinners and the occasional slap of ketchup suddenly discovers flavor, and it consumes him. One night, he's halfway into a plate of bland steak and greens from Lois when he starts mentally replacing it with Bonnie's cooking.
Peter, what's wrong? You don't have an appetite.
Lois, the more you talk about it, the more it's going to be a whole thing. Just let me focus here. Okay.
The man's literally chewing disappointment while hallucinating gravy. And then, mid-bite, he accidentally calls Lois by the wrong name. That name? Bonnie. And yes, everyone hears it. But Peter doesn't care. He's hooked. Not on Bonnie, but on her food. Soon, she's sneaking over with a Tupperware full of wagon wheel pasta, and Peter accepts it with the energy of someone about to commit a crime. The way he talks about it, you'd think he's having a hot, steamy affair.
Family's right inside.
I thought you might want some lunch. Joe's still on his stakeout, and I know you like wagon wheel pasta.
Man, that smells good. Okay, fine.
There's turkey, there's pasta, and there's a certain emotional closeness to slow-cooked meat that Peter can't walk away from. He even finds himself dining at Joe's house in secret like he's in some cheesy food romance drama. At one point, Bonnie serves up turkey so juicy Peter literally forgets where he is. He calls her Barney by accident, which is a choice. Then Joe walks in. Peter panics and he has to hide under the table.
Joe's home early.
What? I ate most of his dinner?
Hey, Bon, did you know there's a difference between 10th Street and 10th Avenue?
I don't even think Joe would have had a problem with him, by the way. I mean, he was just there for food. Anyway, back home, Peter is forced to eat Lois's food again. A few peas, some mashed potatoes, and whatever flavorless thing she boiled. He seems to love it, but we're not quite sure. Lois couldn't care less, because according to her, if Peter's eating at Bonnie's, that's one less person to cook for. Honestly, can you blame her? So what did Peter actually eat during his food affair? Turkey, wagon wheel pasta, maybe a few sides with actual seasoning. Compared to Lois's basic dinners, this was fine dining. In the nutritional aspect, it's still heavy on carbs, protein, and cholesterol. But emotionally, Peter was full for the first time in years, and that's a win. Peter gets a dose of healthy food in the episode Saturated Fat Guy. This happens after Lois watches a food documentary one afternoon, and just like that, Peter's entire diet gets assassinated by kale. The documentary is called Food Kills, and it hits her hard. She's now aware that processed food is evil and sugar is poison. Colon Health magazine even gave it 2 thumbs. That's apparently all it takes.
Well, that's it. From now on, we're eating healthy around here. We're gonna feel better and we're gonna look better.
Well, looking better doesn't always solve your problems, Lois.
Dinner that night is quinoa, which according to Lois is a superfood. According to Peter, it sounds like a martial art. But Peter, he claims his body is rejecting it. Honestly, he might not be wrong.
Peter, knock it off.
I can't help it.
That night, Peter can't sleep. His stomach wants grease and not something healthy recommended by a random Netflix documentary. So he gets out of bed and heads downstairs, only to find Chris already there on the same mission. The fridge is full of nothing. No snacks, no leftovers, just sadness and hummus. Peter thanks his son and drives straight to the store like a man on a mission. What happens next is something you would only expect from a man in crisis. Peter crafts a sandwich made of peanut butter cups, Doritos, sausage, and a Cadbury egg, all melted together in a frying pan balanced on his car's dashboard.
Oh, yeah. Peanut butter cup, Doritos, sausage, car, panini. I can't believe Randy Quaid gets to eat like this every day.
Cleveland rolls up and sees Peter cooking in his car. Turns out his household has been hit by food kills too, just the Tyler Perry version. The two of them share the sandwich, hands touch, and Peter's not sure what they're doing anymore, but Cleveland seems to enjoy the sandwich, probably because he shares Peter's unhealthy eating habits.
Oh, our hands just touched.
Good. I'm not sure what we're doing now.
Then a random guy walks up and offers $10 for a bite. Then another guy does the same. Suddenly, Peter's turned his food rebellion into a pop-up car sandwich business. 2 sandwiches, $20, not bad for a man using chocolate as a condiment. So what did Peter eat during his health food breakdown? Technically, quinoa and maybe a sandwich. We're not sure. But we have seen him devour a peanut butter cup, Doritos, sausage, Cadbury, egg, panini, a meal so violently unhealthy it might be illegal in 3 states, but Peter didn't care. For a man used to eating with his heart, this was a full-blown resurrection. Still on the episode Saturated Fat Guy, after Peter sold 2 sandwiches from his car and made $20, he did get an idea of starting his own business and bought a food truck. A greasy, wobbly, probably dangerous food truck. And just like that, his late-night snack became a full-blown business. Lois, of course, is horrified, but Peter is proud. He calls it a freedom machine, a literally rolling rebellion against kale. His menu? Burgers with jelly donut buns, milkshakes sipped through hot dog straws, and tacos filled with Swedish fish. You don't need a medical degree to know that isn't healthy for the human body.
First of all, believe it, baby. Second, mostly hamburgers where the drinks were hot dogs is the straws.
And yet, people show up. They proudly pay for and eat every bit. They even tip, mostly because Peter's iPad forces them to. $16 for a heart attack in a bun with a 60% gratuity? Absolutely. Meanwhile, Lois is still trying to serve steamed vegetables at home, but nobody's there. The kids have joined Peter at the trucks, scarfing down bowls of M&M cereal soaked in Dr. Pepper. And yes, that's an actual menu item Peter serves.
All right, I got a bowl of cereal that's M&M's and Dr. Pepper.
You kids get in the house and eat the healthy dinner I prepared. And Peter, you too. Shut down that truck and get inside.
Lois confronts him again, furious that he's turned the front yard into a drive-thru for sugar addicts. But Peter stands firm. He tells her to bring him Pop Rocks because he's making a pie. If you're keeping track, this is a man whose idea of dessert crust involves literal fireworks. Lois finally snaps and kicks him out of the house. Peter, in turn, declares the food truck his new home. He has a grill, a microwave, underwear for napkins, and a Hooters calendar for company. He wakes up the next morning surrounded by burgers, kitty tacos, and an air quality rating of Death Trap.
All right, time to greet the day.
Joe and Quagmire visit, and they're not impressed. Peter's clearly gaining weight, his arms are doughy, his elbows are folding, but Peter insists he's happier than ever. He's got his greasy empire and a long line of customers waiting for a donut bun burger topped with spray cheese. Then, the Bing Maps car arrives. The neighborhood has been preparing for this day forever. Everyone rushes to wave, but when Peter tries to join them, he gets stuck in his truck, literally wedged in his own food truck. His stomach is now officially a structural hazard.
Damn it! I can't fit through the door. I'm stuck in a truck.
I knew this would happen. You're too fat to get out.
It gets worse. The news shows up. Trisha Takanawa stands outside the truck as firefighters rip off the roof. Peter's hoisted out with a crane like a carnival prize wrapped in shame. This happens as the cameras flash and the town watches, and Peter realizes just how far he's fallen. Not emotionally, but physically. It's incredibly humiliating.
Nobody look! This is a private, gross matter. Well, I'm kind of ticked about condoms and porn, but this is unrelated.
Peter realizes just how far he's fallen. Not emotionally, but physically. It's incredibly humiliating. Lois shows up too. She's not angry, but just sad and disappointed. Peter thinks she's ashamed of him, but she says no. She just wants him to live long enough to be old and wrinkly with her. A moment of honesty surrounded by the smell of fryer grease and crushed M&M shells.
I guess I could do without eating so much junk. But I could never do without you.
That night, Peter has steamed vegetables and brown rice. For a few short hours, he eats something green that didn't come from a gummy worm. But it doesn't last. He returns to junk food. Not every meal, but most. Because no matter how much love you have in your life, if someone offers you a Swedish fish taco and a donut burger, sometimes you eat both. So what did Peter eat during his food truck phase? Jelly donut burgers, hot dog straw milkshakes, Swedish fish tacos, M&M cereal with soda, peanut butter cup paninis, pop rock pie, and chili blasted straight into his mouth. He turned his body into a walking sugar sculpture and smiled through it all. And that's just part of what Peter Griffin eats on a typical day. In the episode Sibling Rivalry, Peter has just had a vasectomy. As a result, he loses all interest in sex. Lois feels rejected and unloved, and she begins turning to food for comfort. What starts as stress eating slowly becomes deliberate overeating, and she begins putting on weight. At first, Peter mocks her, calling out things like elbow cleavage and making fun of how she looks. But eventually the unexpected happens. Peter starts finding her attractive again. Not in spite of the weight, but because of it.
Hey, boys, you having a midnight snack?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna grab something, too, and go back to bed alone.
While the spotlight's on Lois and her emotional eating, Peter's right there too. In that same nighttime scene while Lois goes for food, Peter clearly has a bowl in front of him. It looks like he's having a meatloaf sandwich. His laziness and refusal to address the situation means he's not just watching, but he's snacking too. Later, when he takes Lois out to a restaurant, he pushes past people yelling, "Fat wife coming through," and makes a show of her size. But again, while Lois eats, Peter is seated comfortably, and from his tone, you can tell he has no issue dining with her in places that serve exactly what led to the problem. He doesn't skip the meal, he joins her for it. And when they go home that night, Peter climbs into bed beside her, still tossing around cruel jokes. Yet the very next moment, they're accidentally having sex under all the folds. This sparks something in Peter. He realizes he loves this version of Lois, maybe even more.
Ow! Lois, you weigh a ton! Get off me!
Oh, Peter, are we having sex?
Just lift up that fold right there.
And now Peter wants more. He tells Lois he's hungry, that he wants her bigger, that her being fatter will please him. And just like that, the man who once joked about elbow wrinkles is now encouraging Lois to keep eating. But that desire doesn't come from nowhere. It's fueled by his own habits too. In bed, as he fondles both their chests, Peter can't even tell whose body part he's grabbing. Your boobs or my boobs? It's played for laughs, but there's no denying the truth. Peter's been eating just as much as she has. Later that night, as they start getting intimate again, Peter can't even tell if he's having sex or just rubbing against the back of her knee. But he doesn't stop. He's enjoying it too much. Even when Lois begins to have a heart attack, Peter takes a moment to finish what he's doing before helping her to the hospital.
Ow, Peter, you're on my arm. It hurts. Oh, my chest hurts too. I think I'm having a heart attack.
Oh, me too, sweetie, me too.
At the hospital, the doctor confirms Lois had eaten to a dangerous point. They had to move aside layers of fat just to reach her heart. Peter apologizes, realizing he played a role in her condition. And that, it's not just about encouraging her, but by silently sharing in it. As she recovers, Peter tells her he will love her no matter her size. But even then, he admits what he'll miss most is eating cereal out of the dimples on her butt.
Honey, I'm sorry I tried to make you into something you're not. I love you no matter what size you are. I'm gonna miss eating cereal out of the dimples on your ass.
So what did Peter eat on this occasion? He had a bunch of sandwiches with Brian for snacks. He sat at the restaurant table. We'll also assume he had a bite of some food that Lois was having. And of course, there was the cereal eaten from a spot no cereal was meant to be eaten from. Just like always, Peter can't stay away from food. No matter who the story focuses on, his mouth is never empty for long. We start with the episode Nanny Goats. After Lois's mother hires a nanny to help raise the kids, Peter and Lois finally get a break and go out on a date night. But emotional intimacy is not really Peter's strong suit. He rushes through the small talk and immediately reaches for the food.
Hey, hang on, Lois. Give me 2 of those round balls of butter and a breadstick. You'll see where I'm heading with this. Okay, look.
Peter orders 2 round balls of butter and a breadstick, which he jams together in his mouth as a demonstration. He's clearly proud of this, showing Lois his classic trick. By the end of the conversation, she even gets suggestive about more breadsticks later with marinara sauce. His response? That's disgusting, and he loves it. Of course he does. Next, we move to the episode Stewie Goes for a Drive, where Peter ends up on a strange night out with none other than Ryan Reynolds. Reynolds is in town and takes Peter to a Moroccan restaurant, which Peter is clearly not used to. The menu confuses him, the spices overwhelm him, and the attention from Ryan makes him nervous.
Here.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Come on, you'll love it. Intense. What you just did.
Peter doesn't want to try the lamb tagine, but Ryan insists. He literally picks up a bite and feeds it into Peter's mouth. Peter accepts reluctantly. The moment's very strange, possibly suggestive, and certainly confusing for Peter, but the focus here is still the food. The lamb tagine is full of flavors Peter's not used to. He's stunned by how much is going on in a single bite. You can almost feel the spice, the tang, and the awkwardness all at once. Peter's way out of his comfort zone, but even then, he still eats. Finally, we visit the episode Are You There, God? It's me, Peter, where Peter takes his whole family out to Fuddruckers, a build-your-own burger restaurant. This time, Peter's determined to make the meal wild. His kids disappoint him with plain, basic burgers. That's not what Fuddruckers is for, according to him. He wants color, mess, and madness.
It's not supposed to be easy to eat. Half of it is supposed to fall onto your plate when you squeeze it, and the rest goes onto your shirt. Usually you put a burger on a tray. This guy's putting a tray on a burger.
To prove his point, Peter creates the most chaotic burger imaginable. He adds toppings far beyond food. Silverware, ice from his drink, salt shakers, even the tray itself goes into the burger. He goes so far as to drop his car keys on the pile, ready to create an imaginary masterpiece like it was some kind of performance art. All of this just to show the kids how you're supposed to eat at Fuddruckers. In Peter's mind, a proper burger should fall apart the moment you touch it. It should stain your shirt, overwhelm your plate, and probably put your digestive system in aggressive danger. So what does Peter eat on his nights out? Butterballs and breadsticks turned into weird snack tricks, lamb tagine forced into his mouth by a Hollywood actor, and finally an exploding burger with salt, ice, utensils, and tray on top. At every table in every setting, Peter finds a way to turn a normal meal into a ridiculous food moment. Peter eats all sorts of things: junk food, fast food, silverware, and sandwiches, you name it. But sometimes, he takes things a little further, like eating actual human flesh. Yes, literally. Peter Griffin, in his own strange logic, has eaten people on multiple occasions, and it's every bit as disturbing as it sounds. Peter, Quagmire, Cleveland, and Joe are stranded on a desert island after a boating accident. With no food and no hope in sight, desperation takes over. One day, Joe realizes something horrifying.
What?
You're eating something.
You bastard! You have food?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Give me that! You've been eating my legs!
Peter had secretly eaten part of Joe's legs. We're not talking about some wild animal or a fish he caught. No, it's Joe's actual legs. Peter tries to deny it, but his mouth is literally full and he's chewing. His logic? He knew people would overreact, so he just stayed quiet and kept eating. He doesn't even seem ashamed. In fact, he tells Joe to agree to disagree. This isn't survival instinct, this is Peter just being Peter and eating human flesh like it's a snack from the fridge. Next, in the episode Killer Queen, Peter shares a shocking confession during a group session at Fat Camp. The camp counselor asks him to talk about his struggles with food. Peter takes a deep breath and begins a story. He says he was once sitting next to a stranger on a city bus who had a bucket of fried chicken. Peter couldn't resist. He reached over and started eating it.
This one time I was on a city bus, and the guy next to me was eating a bucket of fried chicken. I just dug in and started stuffing that chicken into my mouth.
But as he continues the story, he breaks down sobbing because it wasn't chicken. It was a baby, a human baby. The room goes silent. Even the other overeaters can't relate to this one. Whether it's meant as a dark exaggeration or a full confession, Peter's words suggest that he crossed the line between hunger and horror again. Finally, in the episode Into Fat Air, the Griffins are climbing Mount Everest and things take a tragic turn. They find the frozen body of Ben Fishman, the son of Lois's ex-boyfriend. While the others react with sadness and disbelief, Peter already has ideas.
Look, if we don't eat something soon, we're all gonna pass out from exhaustion and freeze to death just like him.
I guess we don't have a choice.
The snowstorm traps them, and with no food or shelter, the family hesitates before ultimately agreeing. Peter's already a step ahead. In his mind, the debate's over. Ben's frozen, dead, and apparently ready to serve. The Griffins go along with it, reluctantly, but Peter showed no hesitation. Just another meal in the mountains. One minute, the group is mourning a frozen body. The next, Peter's treating him like a meatloaf. In every one of these moments, Peter goes from hungry to horrifying in a heartbeat. He eats Joe's leg like it's a leftover, he confesses to devouring a baby like it was fast food, and he casually helps the family feast on a frozen body like it's nothing. It's not just strange, but also very disturbing. And yet, for Peter, it all falls under the same category: food. We all know Peter loves to drink. Whether it's a cold beer at the Drunken Clam or something a little stronger, alcohol has always been his go-to. But in the episode New Kidney in Town, Peter discovers something new: Red Bull. It starts off harmless. Peter's tired, and Quagmire offers him a can of Red Bull. Just one sip, and Peter transforms instantly. He goes into full chaos mode. He tears down curtains, drives to New York, buys a cow, and treats Red Bull like it's the secret to eternal life. He throws 5 cans at Chris like they're candy. To Peter, Red Bull becomes an essential food group. But when Lois finds out how much he's drinking, she pours all of it down the sink. Peter doesn't take it well.
Lois, where is my Red Bull?
I got rid of it.
Why the hell would you do that?
Desperate to stay on his high, Peter takes matters into his own hands. He pulls out a blender and starts making his own version of Red Bull. It's less of an energy drink and more of a chemical experiment. He dumps in random ingredients, including kerosene, and claims it's all fuel.
I'm making my own Red Bull.
Hang on, you're adding kerosene?
Red Bull is fuel. Kerosene is Red Bull.
He drinks it, says he feels amazing, and then immediately collapses on the floor. His body crashes the same way his day started. Wild, unpredictable, and completely unhinged. So yes, by the end of the day, Peter has guzzled multiple cans of Red Bull and chased it all down with a blender full of kerosene. What Peter eats in a day completely depends on what he's up to. Sometimes it's a fancy hotel breakfast or a calm dinner at home. Other times it's a burger stacked with silverware, a taste of human flesh, or a blender full of kerosene. His stomach is as unpredictable as his brain, and somehow, no matter what goes in, Peter Griffin always lives to eat another day.